If I'm being exact, I've lost over 28 kg since I had my baby, which is just a little over a year ago. My darling, I love you, 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 I love you. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Chidima Osai, and if this is your first time of seeing me here on YouTube, don't make it your last. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Over a year ago, I had my baby girl, and my confidence had plummeted. The way I looked had changed. My physical appearance had changed, and one thing that bugged me a lot was how I looked. I weighed more than I had ever done my entire life. I wouldn't say my entire life, because there was a period in time during my teenage age when I wasn't weighing myself. But then ever since I knew what weight meant, weighing, knowing how much you weigh, all those things, and kept I kept a mental note of how much I weigh. That was the highest I weighed, which was 95 kg. And now, a year after having my baby, I have lost a whole lot of weight. If I'm being exact, I've lost over 28 kg since I had my baby, which is just a little over a year ago. And I wanted to share my habits, things that I did that helped me lose this weight, especially for people who, like me, are moms. They don't have anybody helping them, and going to the gym is a luxury they cannot afford. I'm going to share my exact habits and routines that helped me lose weight. And I wanted to share my habits, things that I did that helped me lose this weight, especially for people who, like me, are moms. They don't have anybody helping them, and going to the gym is a luxury they cannot afford. I'm going to share my exact habits and routines that helped me lose weight. First thing I did was I decided that, you know what, this is it. I have to lose this weight. I just have to lose this weight. There is no back and forth. I just have to lose this weight so I can feel more confident about myself and in my body. And that I was at that point where I could no longer give any excuses or give any reasons. I just had to lose this weight. The moment you give yourself that ultimatum and tell yourself that there is no longer room for excuses, there is no any other room for any of that, that is the moment you take your weight loss seriously. So I'd gotten to that point. I was frustrated and I was done with the excuses. The next thing I did was I decided I was not going to tell anybody about what I was going to do, just my husband. And that was because my husband and I were in the same physical space together. If my husband was not in that same physical space with me, I probably wouldn't have even told him as well that I was trying to lose weight. And I'll tell you why I did this. The reason why I did this was because I knew that the moment I tell someone that, oh, I'm trying to lose it, they're probably going to tell me, oh, your baby is too small, won't your weight loss affect your baby, or it's still early postpartum, because I started at 6 months. Like, I deliberately started trying to lose weight 6 months. I was active before then, but like actually buckling down and say, fine, I need to lose this weight, was after 6 months of having my baby. Then they always tell me, oh, it's too early, let your baby turn 1 year first before you start trying. Or I would hear something like, okay, this method, or just giving me ideas that at the end of the day might just make me overwhelmed and not try to lose the weight any longer. So I decided I was not going to tell anybody. It was just going to be something I do for myself by myself. That was the decision I made. The third thing was I had to put myself in a condition that was encouraging, that the atmosphere was encouraging and would help me in the weight loss journey. That means I had to find a community. At that initial stage, I told myself that if I leave this weight loss thing to myself, I know that I'm going to quit in 1 month, or I'm going to quit even in less than 1 month. But I need a community of like-minded people who are willing to lose this weight and are ready. And being in such a community is definitely going to help me have my focus, have my strength and motivation and discipline, and bring on that sense of competition that when I say, oh, this person is doing this, is going to help me focus and just achieve my goals. The next thing I did was I went on a calorie deficit. I did my calculations, my weight, my height. When I went for immunization for my daughter, I checked my height just to be sure. I checked my weight, to know how much I weighed. And I used the TD calculator. The TD calculator, all you need to do is just go online, put the TD calculator. You input your height, you input your age, you input your sex, you input your weight. And once you're done with these things, it tells you what your calorie deficit should be, like your maintenance, your what you should cut. It gives you all this information that you can run with. So I did that, and I knew how much calories I needed to cut in order for me to start my weight loss journey, and I started eating a calorie deficit. The next thing I did was I started intermittent fasting, because aside calorie being in a calorie deficit, intermittent fasting would help you stay disciplined and stay locked in. Let's say you're just eating, because there are so many types of intermittent fasting, and I've posted on this channel that I tried the 1 meal a day, that type of intermittent fasting. But then what I started with that really helped me was 2 meal a day, that intermittent fasting, the 16-4, I think that is the name for it. There is 23-1, that is 1 meal a day, and there's 16-4. I did the 16-4. What that meant was I was allowed to eat only twice a day. I would eat, let's say, one or two, depending on how hungry I was in a day. From 12, 1 or 2, I could eat my first meal. After having my first meal, I could have like a fruit or something. Then between, I'd have a snack, and then towards 6 p.m., I would have another meal, which was my second meal for the day and my final meal for the day. I did that for, let's say, 3 months. Yes, I did that for 3 months. And within that 3 months, I had lost a significant amount of weight. I think within that time, I'd lost up together, let's say 16 or 16 kgs just doing this. I became active. That was the next habit that I used. I became very active. I was very active, and I have been very active ever since. I try as much as possible to walk 15k steps. That was in the initial time. Initial time I started with my weight loss journey, I walked 15k steps every single day. And on days I couldn't meet up, I just made sure I gave myself a benchmark. If I couldn't meet up to 15k, I couldn't go lower than 8k. And I did that consistently, and I could see the improvement. Now, when I started losing and I got up to, because I started in January, when I got to the month of March, I then had ended my time with the community of like-minded people that are trying to lose weight. It had come to an end. First thing I did for myself was that I started inculcating weight lifting, because I had done my own research and I saw just how important it was to inculcate with lifting into whatever workout routine you're doing, and just how beneficial and important it is for you right now and at old age, and for your physique entirely. So I started inculcating that, and I did that with home equipment. I didn't wait, because I knew that going to the gym was a luxury I could not afford. Because what time would I go to the gym? Who will hold my child when I go to the gym? That was just one of those things that I knew I couldn't do. So what would I do? I got my ever bottles. I remember someone telling me, what was this? I got my ever bottles, rubber water, and I filled them. At first, I filled them with water, and when I felt like that was too easy, I switched over to filling them with sand. And right now, I've moved over to this 5 liters, 5 liters, 5 liters gallon that I now use, that I fill with water. And I'm also planning on switching the water to sand very soon, just because I feel like it's becoming really, really easy. That was another thing I did. Increase my protein intake. So I increased my protein intake. I increased my veggies. I increased all of this, because I realized that when you bulk up on your veggies, it helps when you are cutting calories or when you are counting calories. It helps it a lot. A meal that would otherwise not satisfy you, when you add in a lot of vegetable and a lot of protein, it tends to satisfy you. So I was like, I would add lots of veggies, and I still add veggies as much as I can to my meals, just so that it fills me up quick. Share with you another thing that I did that I've never done before, that I feel played a really huge, significant role in this weight loss. I prayed about my weight loss. Oh God, yes, I prayed about it. The morning time, when I'm saying my morning prayers, I'm praying to God. I'm like, God, please give me the spirit of discipline, consistency. I really want to lose this weight. Help me, help me, help me, help me. Night prayers, I'm doing that as well. And then the next thing I did was I asked myself, how can I make this weight loss thing easy for myself? Because I know if I made it too hard, I wouldn't continue, I would stop. But I asked myself, how can I make this easy for myself? Now, and generally you're told, okay, don't eat this, don't eat that. I eat everything. Like, I eat everything. But then I told myself, how would this be easier for me? How it would be easier for me is that if I know that I would have egg rolls every single day for the week, Now, because I'm trying to lose weight, I would have egg rolls just twice a week. If I know that I can go with soda every single day in the week, that's 7 days a week. Because I'm trying to lose weight, I'd reduce my soda intake to 3 or 4 times in a week. And okay, if I know that, let for me, I would have like a whole 3 or 2 cups of rice. Because I'm trying to lose weight, I might reduce it to like 2 or 1.5 cup of rice rather than bringing it down to half, just because I know that bringing it down that way, it's going to make it unsustainable and it's going to make it too hard for me to continue. So I did some of these things on my own just to make it easy for myself. And still on that line, I know I told you guys I started working. Another thing that I've started inculcating is I've reduced my step from 15K to 10K, just because I feel like for the season of life that I'm in right now, telling myself that I'm going to work 15K every day is something that I might not be able to stick with. I've lost weight and I'm still working towards losing more. But 15K is no longer realistic for me. What would be more realistic for me is if I can work 10K consistently. That is it. If I can just work 10K consistently. So when you get all the advice you're going to get on how to lose weight, try as much as possible to tailor them to yourself in ways that are not going to be too hard for you to practice, in things that are going to be easy for you to keep doing and do consistently over time. So yes, and in order just to conclude this, I'm going to tell you guys that during the course of this 6 months, and even at this point I'm in right now, I've thought about getting weight loss products. I've thought about getting all the weight loss teas, weight loss pills, weight loss, and the only thing that stopped me was my daughter, just because I'm still breastfeeding and I know that if I take that, it's going to affect her. That's the only thing that has stopped me from getting them. But if I were to advise someone, I would, based on my own research, if you're going to, maybe you don't want to go through all this process and you just want to get maybe a particular product, use it and lose the weight, what I would advise is that you ensure that you know what you are taking, because most of these products are, they're like packaged Monjaro, packaged GLP-1. Those are it. So do your research and look at the long-term effects and ensure that these long-term effects are things that you are willing to live with. This has another thought, like, well, like, okay, fine, let me just research. I did my research. I was like, oh God. So thank God I really didn't go this route, because the consequences and the side effects I'm seeing, they are wow. Like, they are wild. I'm like, I can't. Thank God I didn't go that route. Another thing that, this is just like a bonus point that has helped me on this journey, is I've told myself quite a number of times that I want to be the fit mom. I don't want to be the overweight mom. I want to be the fit mom. I want to be the mom who my kids or my kid can see and she's like, oh yeah, I saw my mom working out when I was growing up. Like, it's a no-brainer. We work out in our family.